Yo, what's happening everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be bringing you a team in the Galar Cup. This team worked out very well for me. Big shout out to my good friend Daryl, who you guys probably know from the streams and the Discord. He recommended this team. I was using Rose's team yesterday, which was pretty successful, so I do recommend that team as well if you're looking to climb in this cup. This team right here though is Drifblim in the lead, with Diggersby and Toxapex. The Toxapex core, Toxapex Diggersby core is very strong in this cup, and I do highly recommend it. I'm just having a look at my phone. If you guys can hear the Pokemon Go sounds in the background, I'm just checking my elo. I'm currently sitting at 2543 here, and I believe I started off the day on like 2460 or something like that. So roughly about 80 elo gained with this team. Went fairly positive, and yeah, I do recommend it. There are a couple of teams that are like some sort of an issue for this. Rose's team with the Ninetales lead, definitely very tricky. I came across that team a couple of times. I did manage to beat it once. The only way that you sort of beat that team is if the opponent stays in with Ninetales, loads up on energy, brings in the Quagsire, and then maybe if you get a debuff or, you know, just outpace to the moves, because Diggersby, being XL and super thick, can comfortably take moves. That's the really cool thing about this Pokemon. So if you do get that Ninetales lead, it is rough. Try to play it out as best as possible. Come into your own Diggersby, and hopefully try to take swap on the Quag. Other than that, yeah, it might be a little bit of a loss. You'll find with most teams in these metas in general, I found, there will just be certain Pokemon and teams that you lose to, and Ninetales, it may be one of those ones that is a little bit hard to play out of. I did notice that Ninetales lead was pretty common today. As you know, in these cups, what people tend to do is quote-unquote read the meta, and basically try to adjust their teams accordingly for what they're seeing. So if people are seeing a lot of Ninetales, you're most likely going to start seeing things like Toxapex in the lead. If Toxapex and Diggersby become very common leads, you will notice that this team works very well. If you wanted to play this team in a more safe way, I probably could recommend going for, let's say, a Toxapex lead, meaning that your two back Pokemon are weak to Ice. This team is ABA weak to Ice, so you could play it that way instead if you wanted to. But I found that this combination of free Pokemon worked very well, and, you know, if you do lose lead with Ninetales, sometimes it is possible to farm down. Just shield once, farm down with Drifblim on the Mudboy. Especially if it's like a Diggersby that meets your Diggersby safe swap. You get a lot of energy there. Shadow Balls are no joke, and yeah, I thought this team was very good and I very much enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Galar Cup in the comment section down below. Sorry for the lack of uploads over the last week. I've just kind of been having a bit of a difficult time with GBL. I hit, I'm not sure if I uploaded it or not actually, but with Double Astonish I hit Veteran in the Psychic Cup, and since then I've just been up and down. I've been streaming on YouTube if you want to take part in the streams, by the way. Big thank you to everybody who comes through. Oftentimes we've got about 100 people in the stream, so big thank you to everybody who supports those. But turn on notifications on the channel, join our Discord in the description if you do want to be notified for those. And this week I will try to get back to uploading a little bit more, but of course it just depends how it goes, right? I kind of get very frustrated with teams that don't do well, and I don't really like to showcase just the wins from the teams. Normally whenever I bring a team to you, it's a team that I've actually had some success with, right? So this team is one of them. Hope you enjoy the team, hope you enjoy the commentary. If you do, of course, like and subscribe, and let's hop on into the battles here. So we have Big Boy Golurk here. I think in this cup, if you're running Golurk, you probably want the Dynamic Punch. The opponent lets one of the moves go, of course we can quick attack down, but what we can do now is basically look to get a load of energy with either Drifblim. Yeah, we just swap straight out here, we snipe it with one Astonish. By the way, you definitely need Astonish on this. And what was like a sort of awkward swap, now we're looking in a good position, because bang, Shadow Ball coming through in the Weezing. Of course, if it is Shadow Weezing, that would be looking to one-shot it. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Did you manage to get yourself a good Weezing? The opponent comes back in Clefable. Drifblim is just so good, actually. Of course, it's really weak to Ninetales, Ice types. I've started seeing a few Electrics in the meta as well. I seen a Stunfisk today, I seen a Lantern while I was doing some coaching. Definitely interesting. We troll the opponent a little bit here. We go for the catch on the Swift here. The opponent's zero bubbles, and that's good games. Well played. So yeah, guys, like I said, I've not been uploading too much. Hopefully this week we can do a little bit better with uploads. In the next battle here, we have a Lapras lead. Really interesting. The opponent brings in the Gastrodon. Diggersby into Gastrodon is not a bad matchup. I do wonder if they're on Water Pulse. I think that's why I shield here. The opponent gives me a decent energy lead. We're up to back-to-back Scorching Sands. 30% chance debuff. Basically we've got like a 67% chance of debuffing here, 2 out of 3. So we'll see if we can get one here. We do get the debuff on the second time around, which means I do live the Water Pulse. At this point though, I think I am tempted to shield, but I do know I live it. I don't think they can quite farm me down. And once again, Drifblim up energy is just so good. So I'm thinking here like, okay, you can farm me down. All of your moves are really resisted. I should get like 3 Astonishes here. This thing just hits like an absolute truck. They get off a dang body slam. We come into the Toxapex, the opponent comes into the Doug Trio. I fuck up here, unfortunately. I should have shielded this move. Yeah, I do get off the brine, I do survive the Mud Bomb, but as you can see here, this actually one-shots, so had I kept this alive, this would have been a lot better. Unfortunately, with this Lapras being an Ice type, I think we're just cooked. We do have a shield here. Lapras is super bulky. They do go for a Surf here. We can make it to a Shadow Ball, but is this going to be enough? Lapras is such a bulky Pokemon. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. Actually, it is enough. We do one-shot it. Whenever we were watching this in Discord, or whenever the guys were watching in Discord while I was streaming, I do stream in Discord as well if you're interested in that sometimes. If I'm not streaming here on YouTube, I'm usually streaming in Discord, but we were kind of surprised that knocked out. It turned out pretty well. Drifblim hits like a truck. I think the safest way to play that would probably shield the Mud Bomb and just farm down and Sludge Wave the thing. Because, like, they only really can throw a Skull Bash, and I think it does only, like, 40 or 45% of the Tox. So, like, yeah, that would have been a lot more comfortable, obviously. Guys, this Drifblim, or sorry, not Drifblim, I keep saying Drifblim, or the wrong Pokemon, I keep saying the wrong Pokemon. This Drapion safe swap, it's kind of awkward for Diggersby. It's almost tempting to play out the one-shield scenario with Drifblim. Basically get a debuff, right? See, the thing about this season is misaligning clocks is such a bad feeling. So yeah, there is that, but I think sometimes debuffing with Icy Wind might be the way to go, just to guarantee that you take swap. The opponent comes in, basically throws away their Drifblim, which I'm pretty happy with. So I'm wondering what is in the back at this point, especially because they bring back in the Drapion. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they are just weak to Toxapex, because they've had like 2 pretty decent answers to it so far. Maybe it's a Fairy, maybe it's an Abomasnow, right? Let's have a look to see what comes in. The opponent comes into a Fairy. We have a load of energy with Drifblim. Of course, they're double weak to Poison Jab being a Grass type. But yeah, the opponent's just absolutely cooked here. There's no way they can overfarm to, like, basically 2 Moonblasts, so that's GG's. Very happy with this team at the start. We get a 4-1 to start with. Absolutely love to see it. We get a Stinky Falinky. I'm going to start calling this thing at this point, because, like, I mean, who needs Falinks at the stage? We've had the raid day. It's been in GBL rewards for a while. Now it's got the Dynamax form, so yeah, we're all sick of seeing it. Drifblim lead. I'm not sure how I play this out this time. Okay, I go for CMP. I recommend in this matchup right here, go for CMP. If you win it, you win it. If you lose it, the opponent played this in the worst possible way. They shielded and didn't throw the move. That's definitely not what you want to do, so at least learn from the opponent's mistake there. They came into the Toxapex, by the way. If you ever get a Simul KO and you want to choose your Pokemon, just wait till the very last second. I was able to react in time. Next battle here, we get a fantastic lead in Diggersby. The opponent says in to throw immediately, which is quite interesting, suggesting that they might be quite weak to this in the back. They come into Drapion. Guys, I've been coaching somebody and helping with somebody else's battles. What I've kind of decided at this point is, if you get a Drapion safe swap, I think you like debuff it and either come into your Toxapex or Diggersby, because they've got the super effective Aqua Tails, and by the time you get swapped out and get off 1 Scorching Sands, they've already hit you with 2 Aqua Tails. It's a bloody nightmare. So I think you do that, play out the 1 shield. If they go out for a crunch immediately on the Drifblim, shield it, get off your Icy Wind right away, and then swap out. Because as you can see, Toxapex does very fine there as well. So maybe that's something to keep in mind. Anyway guys, we have some very exciting gameplay. Toxapex versus the Toxapex. We're unloading. We're absolutely waving the life out of each other here. I wave, the opponent waves. They built up to like 100 energy. And yeah, let's see what we can do here. Bring in the Daddy Diggersby, of course, to the Pexmeister. This match is like, I don't want to say it's close, but it's not like horrible for Toxapex. You do die to pretty much 2 Scorching Sands, but it's not like the absolute worst thing in the world. You can get off a lot of damage with an energy lead. Yep, we're in against the Diggersby here. This is great for the Drifblim. I believe I probably just about survive one, but I do want to debuff here first, just to make sure I do. Get off the debuff here. This should ensure our survival. We have our own Diggersby in the back. We've got the shields down here, basically, at this point. I survive here. I'm happy to let this go. And I'm expecting the opponent to swap out at this stage. They swap into Toxapex. I decided just to get rid of this right away, because I think we're just like a little bit ahead on health. The opponent shields up the move. I'm not sure what does more, Scorching Sands or a debuff Brine. I would say they're fairly comparable. I tend to like shielding Brines. I go for a bit of an overfarm here, go for a CMP tie, and I think we're in a fine position because we still have a Scorching Sands. I'm not sure if my Drifblim still makes a move or not, but we just outpaced us here anyway. We should be in a pretty fine position. I think I'd go for this. Yeah, that was stupid. The Astonish damage could be significant though. It allows us to farm it down, but that was definitely not smart, especially if they get the debuff, which they do. And we do farm it down on 1 HP, so a little bit of a stupid play there. Even though it's double resisted, Drifblim just doesn't have that much HP. So yeah, you're never going to make a move there. As you can see here, we end up losing the CMP, and what I've decided is, if we lose CMP, we let it go. Mystical Fire, very interesting, we jab it down with Toxapex. I do think that I've seen this team, I think, twice, a mirror team twice. So this must be a team that people are using for whatever reason, just like Drifblim in the lead, try to RPS the backline with Diggersby and Toxapex. And the opponent swaps out of their Diggersby into Toxapex, which is not probably the correct play. I think at the very least, they should go for Scorching Sands, try to fish for a debuff, try to make it a little bit more comfortable for Tox. Right here, we shield up the Brine, this is perfectly fine here. The good thing about shielding Brines, like when you know that the opponent has Diggersby, right, it could get to a point in the match where you get such low health that they start fire punching, so it's kind of good to shield the Brine in that way. But I'm really not sure which one does more damage or which one's the most efficient move to shield. If you guys happen to know that, feel free to put it in the comments down below. I'm not going to look up PV Poke, just, you know, figure it out for yourself. Figure it out for yourself. I'll try to figure it out for myself at some point here. Fairforn lead, kind of interesting. The opponent comes into a Froslass, and I found this really interesting. Look how much damage we've done. After that Astonish that went through there, they're going to be basically almost in the red here. 2 more Astonishes will knock it out. We don't have like a great answer to the Fairforn in the back line. Like Diggersby is fine with Fire Punch, you can take a power whip and everything. They come into this right here. ICMP here on a Shadow Ball. I'm expecting them to let it go and just put it all in Fairforn. The opponent does, however, shield. And I think it's tempting to shield here. I do end up shielding because I know this is quite good into the Fairforn. I think I maybe look to oh, I miscounted. It's actually 5-4 for these Aqua Tails, so I did miscount. I live in 1 HP. We come into Diggersby and just start loading up an energy. The opponent brings in Fairforn. We get this off in good timing. We need a total of 3 of these. They have a shield, of course. We were ahead by roughly 1 Fire Punch. Of course, the opponent being debuffed didn't want to further move, but I think they should have threw it, because we can just 1 and throw here. The opponent goes for the CMP top left, and that's good games, because of course the opponent realizes we're going to just get 2 Fire Punches off before they get off the next Power Whip, and of course just quick attack down or farm down the Quagsire. We get the Quagmeister in the lead. Quaggies, they do tend to bait you. If you're feeling absolutely ballsy, feel free to call this move. I think this might be the only opponent. No, maybe it's an opponent earlier or later. There was one opponent who full sent 2 Stone Edges. They can probably like double Aqua Tail. They end up actually just letting that move go. I'm happy enough to just take the second Aqua Tail. If they don't threaten it the second time, of course we just do that. Right here, we're going to go for an Icy Wind. I probably should Icy Wind and go to Toxapex. I can't remember what I decided to do. Yes, that's exactly what we do here. The opponent still throws the debuffed energy. Of course, Toxapex being super thick, we're not going to shield it. And they come into the Spider. Just let it go. It's not good, bro. It's not good. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do with a Spider, but it's not good. Alright? Just because the meta is different, just because there's not as many Lanterns, just because there's not as many Charge Bugs, doesn't mean this thing is good. They go for the Bug Buzz. Does pretty pathetic damage here to the Toxapex, as you would expect. I think if they give this Pokemon probably like a better fast move, it would be really good. It's got a lot of bulk. The opponent comes into Drapion, we're happy to let this go. I can jab it down, quick attack it down, whatever the case may be. We have a full health Diggersby here, basically, like they're not going to get through us. I decided here to shield this just in case the Arachnids on Bubble Beam. I'd rather shield this on a Bubble Beam, and of course, being a bug type, these Fire Punches will be neutral. I think the opponent finally realizes here at some point that it's basically GG's. They do go for the Bug Buzz, fishing for the defense drop. They don't get it, and they immediately concede the match. Good games well played. You know, honestly, Arachnid, it's got cool potential, but I just don't think it's that good. A Weezing lead here. Let's see how I play it out this time. I think I decided to play this out in the ones because it's the Shadow. These Astonishes are just absolutely ripping it to shreds here. Or maybe I'm going to 2-shield the lead like a little Cringe Lord. Let's see. We're 2-shielding the lead like a little Cringe Lord here. We're going to 1 and throw here. The opponent's 2 Fairy Winds off. I'm expecting them to let this go. 2-shield whatever they have in the back. Drifblim. Thankfully we do see it here, and we can get some very, very valuable chip on this. We definitely need to chip this down lower. These Astonishes are ripping it to shreds. We get it down to roughly 35% health. From here, you probably bring in the Toxapex. I do actually bring in Diggersby. Oh, I think the reason I brought in Diggersby there is because I assumed that based on their lead, right, Weezing, they should have 2 answers to Diggersby in the back, which lo and behold they do. I go for a catch, don't quite make it here, and the opponent will launch a Shadow Ball. IVs definitely matter in these matchups, because as you can see, we can take 2 Shadow Balls. We go for the extra jab. They're getting very, very close to the Brine range, and these jabs are adding up despite being resisted. This is where your bulk's really coming in, and that's why it's kind of harder this season to run Pokemon like Froslass. We're just out-bulking it. The opponent comes into Drifblim. I'm really happy with this because my Diggersby can still live an Avalanche. We're getting fairly close to the Fire Punch, and now we're basically in a very good position to win. That's kind of like being the problem of the season for me. Like, I don't like extremely bulky Pokemon and metas necessarily. Some of my favourite Pokemon are bulky, such as Diggersby, but like Diggersby's been my favorite Pokemon for many seasons. I haven't just suddenly decided to like Diggersby this season because it's meta. I do really like Diggersby even when it was not like a really good Pokemon, just because it does so well into like the Basti teams, right? That's why I really like Diggersby. It was destroying those Basti teams. And I think whenever I first started YouTube, it was my first ever video that blew up. I think like a year and a half ago. That video got like 8 or 9k, or maybe close to 10k now at this point, which is still to this day one of my best ever videos. So I think like that was kind of the thing. Like I think it was shout out to Nerds Rising, bro. I hope Nerds is doing well. He stopped uploading there probably 6 or 8 months ago. I don't know, probably longer. But he loved Diggersby as well. I watched his videos. I was like not jealous, but I was like envious of this Diggersby that he had. Like I had a Hundo build at one point. I've just always liked this Pokemon here. But getting back to the point I was talking about, yeah, these bulky metas, like with the Mandabuzzes, this is just like timeout fodder, these Pokemon, right? Mandibuzz, Toxapex, Diggersby, you get so many matches that are close to timeout. It gets a lot harder to run things like Froslass with a slightly slower pacing, right? 6 to the Avalanche, 7 to the Shadow Ball. A pacing in today's day and age with all the bulky Pokemon, and things like for Alligator with straight 5 Hydro Cannons, definitely a lot harder to run. You can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below, but Scorching Sands coming in, this will look to do, I think, the remainder of this Toxapex's health. They go for Brine, I decide to shield the Brine, and they come back into Mandy here. We get off the Fire Punch. I think the opponent did have enough for the move. They must be over-farming at this point. They do survive on 1 HP, they don't get any moves off, and that is curtains for the opponent. We still have a Brine from there, very comfortable in the end. Shadow Quag in the lead. This will probably play it the same way as the last time. Actually, I think this opponent here might be the Stone Edger. Let's have a look. I'm going to shit my pants, shield whatever they throw. They go for Stone Edge, that's good. I do free and throw here for good timing here. I need to learn the counts of this Pokemon again. It is 5-4 for Aqua Tail. I do wonder if they throw an Aqua Tail first. Is it 6 for the Stone Edge? Because it is straight 7 for Stone Edge. I'm going to have to look up the counts, man. I've not like really fully learned a lot of the new counts, which I guess is a little bit lazy on my part. But anyway, Froslass again, we end up swapping out and catching here. The opponent didn't throw in good timing, that's why I was able to catch that. That's the importance of throwing in good timing, because like if you just throw right away, you're not going to be able to anticipate the catch very well, or you're not going to be able to lock the opponent into their fast move animation. They come into a Charizard with Fire Spin. I 2 through here because I just automatically assumed it was Talonflame. I don't think Talonflame is even in this cup, is it? But I see Fire flying, I don't think of a Charizard anymore. I think, oh, Talonflame, 2 through for good timing. We do end up getting this off. Fairly certain we live a Dragon Claw here anyway, so that's perfectly fine. We farm it down, come into the Blimmeister, and we just melt the Froslass, unfortunately for them. Good game, well played there. In the next one, we have the fabled, the ever so horrible Ninetales lead. The opponent builds up a move, which is what they've tended to be doing, and they bring in Quagsire. I think this is somewhat of a mistake here, because as you can see, Scorching Sands is about 50%. I don't believe we got the debuff. It doesn't do 50%, but 2 pretty much knocks it out. We end up seeing Ping here. I think I can somewhat fight this out, or at the very least, preserve my Diggersby, come into Drifblim, start farming up a ton of energy. That's what we decide to do here. I go for a Fire Punch, that's quite interesting, because if I land this, I'll be able to basically farm it the whole way down. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, we're going to flip swap on this. The opponent kind of made a big mistake in this matchup here, because they end up swapping and sniping. Like, I was in such low health, that was not really worth it for them. They still have a shield up, we bring in Toxapex in immediately. If the opponent locks himself into something where your Pokemon can obliterate it, you just come in right away. In this cup, by the way, you definitely want to use Psyshock. I do understand the opponent not wanting to TM, because the TM system in this game is absolutely ass. It's honestly been one of the most frustrating things in this game for me recently. For the last 2 weeks, bro, like, I've been basically using all of my TMs every day. I'm not even getting the correct moves. The next morning, I'll wake up, go into Pokegenie, do like 3 or 4 raids to get some TMs, maybe do a local raid if it's available, and then still not get the correct move. That's been like a big part of my frustration with this game recently. Between that, the TM system of course is just terrible in this game. The fast move animations being broken, which I think today actually, for the most part, I found the animations were pretty consistent. I think they've done something to fix it. There is still some inconsistency with it. We built up to 2 moves. I was expecting the opponent to go for a catch here. In that situation, if you're playing against a good enough opponent, like I know this guy's hit Legend before, he can count, right? I know it's like, to quote Human Catcher Bug by the way, which is another content creator I miss seeing, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Like, they're definitely going to go for the catch, right? They have to. So it's a question of when, not if. In this next battle, I do quite like this lead. Again, we do get a very nice catch here. I paused a couple of turns to allow the opponent to potentially get up to that move. They bring in Lapras here. Lapras, as people like to call it. We go for a Sludge Wave. The opponent ends up shielding this first move, which basically tells me they're going to go for Skull Bash. I know this is going to hurt a lot. It takes them a lot of, I think it's 8 or 9 ice shards to get to a Skull Bash. This is a lot of energy. So I'm like, you know what, that's an easy shield. We'll go for another Sludge Wave. The opponent's boosted their defense at this point. So yeah, they're definitely going to let this move go. And what ends up happening is we jab it the whole way down. I can live a Skull Bash here, we're less than 50%. We can take that really comfortably. We jab it the whole way down, and the opponent says, you know what, I'm out. Good games, well played. Thanks very much everybody for watching. Really appreciate the support in the videos, on the streams. Sorry for the lack of uploads, but we should hopefully be back this week. Big thank you to everybody, really appreciate it. If you did enjoy today's video, drop a like on it, it's much appreciated of course. Subscribe, and thanks very much for watching everybody. If you're interested, feel free to join us in Discord, and I want to say a big thank you and a huge shout out to all of our members on the channel. Your support basically enables me to do what I'm doing here, streaming and uploading, so big thank you for that. Thank you everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.